Constable pleads guilty to causing death by dangerous driving in St. Mary. Constable Otto Stewart pleaded guilty to causing death by dangerous driving in St. Mary Parish Court on Thursday, following a fatal accident in 2022 that killed 66-year-old Linval Williams. Stewart, who was assigned to the Police Commissioner's Office, was the driver of the vehicle involved in a crash on August 13, 2022. On that morning, Williams, a farmer from Windsor Castle, St. Mary, was loading produce into the trunk of his car outside his home. The routine task was abruptly interrupted when Stewart's car, traveling at high speed, crashed head-on into Williams' parked vehicle. The force of the collision sent Williams through the trunk of his car and left him severely injured. His car was also pushed towards the road. Williams was left paralyzed from the chest down and spent 7 days in hospital before succumbing to his injuries. His son, Craig Williams, determinedly fought for justice in the wake of his father's death. Despite facing numerous delays and legal hurdles, Craig persisted in his efforts, refusing to give up on holding Stewart accountable. In December last year, reporters brought the case to the public attention. After nearly a year of investigation, the Director of Public Prosecution ruled in January 2024 that Stewart should face charges. Stewart was arrested on January 25th and charged with causing death by dangerous driving. The case, which began in March, drew attention both locally and nationally. Throughout the proceedings, Craig stood firm in his pursuit of justice, often speaking out about the emotional toll of the case that it has taken on his family. Thursday, Stewart entered a guilty plea, marking a significant move in the legal battle. Sentencing is scheduled for December 19. Residents amazed as Long Dry River runs with water in St. Thomas. Residents of the small district of Barking Lodge in St. Thomas reacted with amazement on Friday as water reportedly flowed in a Long Dry River in the community for the first time in decades. Heavy rains in the southeast Jamaica parish saw several roads being impassable and commuters left stranded. Residents of Barking Lodge, which is located a few miles from Port Morant, told reporters that water flowed in the Pass River for the first time in over 30 years, catching motorists off guard and overflowing its bank onto the roadway and into homes nearby. It reportedly resulted in vehicles having to wait several hours for the water to recede. A video was shared with reporters showing flooding of the community, several vehicles apparently stranded due to the unexpected weather development, and curious onlookers staring at the flowing water. A trough across Jamaica has resulted in increased rainfall in sections of the island over the past several days. After the trough is projected to enter the Central Caribbean by Tuesday, will increase rainfall likely mainly across northeastern parishes, the Met Service of Jamaica said on Saturday. Dismissed Black River High School teacher wins reinstatement through Supreme Court. A senior high school teacher who was fired from Black River High School over her alleged submission of only 5 out of the required 136 lesson plans for a year has won her legal fight to be reinstated. Sandra De La Pena, who had an unsoiled record during her 27-year tenure at the school before the complaint about the lesson plans was terminated in October 2018 for her persistent failure to submit the required number of lesson plans to the designated supervisor over a considerable period for review September 2016 to May 2018. She was found guilty by the Personnel Committee on the overwhelming evidence against her, one such piece of evidence being the lesson plan submission form, which showed she submitted only 5 of the required 136 entered for the period under question. However, Supreme Court Justice Sandra Winterbeer, who handled the judicial review, granted orders quash the decision of the school board and the Teachers' Appeal Tribunal, which have upheld her termination. The court declares that the termination of the claimant was manifestly excessive, having regard to the fact that this was the first complaint against the complainant employed to the Black River High School for over 20 years, and the finding of the professional misconduct should not validate her chances of receiving a pension up until retirement, the judge noted. The teacher's problem started after acting principal Theobald Ferran complained to the chairman of the Board of Management of Black River High School, Vincent Guthrie, resulting in Sandra being charged with neglect of duty over the period of 2 academic years. However, Sandra, who taught English language, English literature, communication studies, and sociology since September 2021, challenged her termination. She subsequently brought a claim via justice review of the decision in which the board was listed as the first defendant, the tribunal as the second defendant, with the Education Ministry as the third. The Attorney General of Jamaica was also listed as a defendant, but the teacher later withdrew the claim against the agency. Sandra sought several relief, including an order to squash the board's decision to terminate her employment and an order of mandamus compelling the board to reinstate her. She also sought several declarations, including the tribunal erred in law in its ruling that there was evidence to substantiate the charge of persistent failure to submit required number of lesson plans, as only 68 were required, and also that there was inconsistent evidence regarding the number of lesson plans required or submitted. The teacher maintained that she had always submitted the lesson plans and brought several teachers to testify that she had taken her lesson plan and left them on the head of the department's desk. She contended that she had prepared 105 plans and had submitted 42 to the disciplinary hearing. Sandra did not submit any lesson plan to the court, explaining that the committee did not return them to her. However, she showed the court copies of the plans on her computer. Sandra also charged the required number of lesson plans, claiming that the number of 4 and not 8 per month were required. She said 68 was the amount due, which was confirmed by Guthrie. Following the hearing, the judge found that the key witness for the management board had presented evidence for the contradictions and conflicting statements. He was hesitant and uneasy during cross-examination, often needing to be reminded to speak loudly. His attempts to change his response when asked to repeat caused multiple delays during the trial, Blair said in her judgment. On the contrary, she noted that the teacher's credibility remained unshaken as she was composed during cross-examination, which indicated a genuine commitment to truthfulness. She consistently maintained her evidence and readily answered all questions posed by the defense counsel. The claim and evidence was notably candid and demonstrated recall of all relevant facts concerning her tenure at Black River High School and the disciplinary hearing. This enhanced the readability and veracity of her statement, as the evidence was easily corroborated by documentary evidence which solidified her standing as a trustworthy and credible witness, the judge noted. The judge also found that the school had no proper system for documenting submission or receipt of lesson plans, and that an informal system was in place up to September 2018, when a formal system for signing for plans was introduced. Thereafter, as a system for the submission of lesson plan did not exist, no reliance should have been placed on evidence regarding the non-submission of lesson plans, the judge noted. Blair also found that there was no evidence of a written warning to the claimant from the principal, as professional head of the institution, of him giving guidance and assistance, or even an opportunity to improve upon the alleged infraction. Based on that failure, the judge said the principal had no power to make a complaint or recommendation to the board, as he did not satisfy the requirement of the education regulations, and as such, the decision to terminate Sandra ought to be rendered null, void, and of no effect. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.